You are listening to Blue Please right here on CynicalBrit.com. It's the first show of Season 5, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah! Kicking off a new season with a new expansion. Sounds awesome. If you're having problems with lag on the stream, either refresh your stream or try the other server. It's as simple as that. Our servers are reaching capacity once again. We will be adding, hopefully, a third server before the next show. Needless to say, this takes time and it costs money. So, yeah. If there's anyone out there that has spare server capacity for a once-a-week show that is able to donate a Shoutcast relay, that will be very much appreciated. Just get in touch via themurloc@gmail.com. Anyway, I'd like to tell you one thing. I said one thing, and then I went on a 15-minute rant about addiction, but whatever. One thing regarding something that's going to be happening in the next couple of days. This will also be shown on Azeroth Daily, which if you haven't started watching, you probably should, because a lot of people are, and people seem to be really digging the format, which I'm very happy about. Next one will go up after this show. However, there's one reason why I actually went down to London. I went down to London to get a collector's edition signed to auction off for charity. And that's exactly what I managed to do. Went down to London, bought the collector's edition, got it signed by Ghostcrawler, got some swag as well that I'm going to be throwing in with this. A couple of Cataclysm t-shirts. The best lanyard in the world. Oh man, you have not seen this lanyard. This is the king of lanyards. It is a special Blizzard lanyard. I'm going to go get this lanyard. I'm going to be right back. So I'm going all the way over here, which is blatantly not what I should be doing in the middle of the show. I'm going to do it anyway. This friggin' lanyard is the best lanyard. Where's my lanyard? Right. Okay, we've got this Stylen bag right here, really, really Stylen bag. Also, I have this photo of me being eaten by Deathwing. I like that. That's a big fan of that. There we go. Aha, yes. Under the copy of Edge magazine, i.e. the magazine that gives everything a 7 or 4 out of 10, I have this press pass. This is my press pass for the event, and this lanyard has the best stuff ever. On one side, it's got a little bit about World of Warcraft Cataclysm, but it's got this amazing Diablo insignia on it. This awesome flaming Diablo. It's so good. So I'll be giving this away, which is kind of annoying because I really want to keep it, but whatever. Yeah. Along with the collector's edition signed by Ghostcrawler and me if you want me to. And also a couple of Cataclysm t-shirts and the other swag that I got from the event, including that really styling bag. You can carry a shopping home in it, folks, with Deathwing on the side, roaring about how many vegetables you bought. This is going to be auctioned off on eBay, and it's going to be auctioned off for charity. Now, you might wonder which charity, and a lot of people are screaming at me saying Child's Play, and this is where I get a little bit controversial and say that I think there are bigger problems in the world than whether or not first world children have toys to play with. It's true. It really, really is. I think they do great work. But unfortunately, I also think that there are charities that need money just a little bit more than that one. So I'll be giving this away for the charity that goes by the name of Water. And Water does a very simple thing and a very important thing. And that they help dig and build proper wells in third world countries, which stop people from dying from either infection in water or just simply not having enough of it. They are a very, very noble charity. They funded, I believe, over 3,200 water projects. 1.5 million people have got clean water as a direct result of this in 17 countries. So I'm going to be donating the proceeds of that to Water. I know it's not a very exciting or sexy charity, but here's an idea. Why don't we give to a charity that actually matters, as opposed to being stylish and sexy, or because it's got gamer stuff tagged all over it? Don't get me wrong, I think Child's Play's done an amazing job in getting gamers to actually care about charitable work, but I think it's probably about time we actually save some lives, isn't it? Yeah, think about that. Anyway, that auction is going to be going up on eBay in the next couple of days, so if you want to take part in that, that will be fantastic. That is open to everyone in the world, by the way, so we'll be going over that. And it is actually called Charity Water, by the way. If you look for water, you're not going to find much, but it's called Charity Water. Very easy to find, charitywater.org. Anyway, we'll be time for a mailbag, don't you think?
Mail time!
That sounds like it's mail time.
Here's the mail.
It never fails.
It makes me want to wag
my tail.
When it comes,
I want to wail.
Yes, indeed, folks, it's mail time. That is the time where I read the mail. Yes. Got quite a lot of mail. I get a lot more mail now, but I'm separating these two mailboxes. Please do not email into mailbox@cynicalbrit.com. Please don't if it's for the show. That's the email address for Azeroth Daily. Do not email into that for the show, because I won't read it. I read those for Azeroth Daily, not for Blue Please. Blue Please email address is themurloc@gmail.com. And of course, bear in mind, I've got the illusion of choice at the end of the show, where I will pick the best email as my final topic. Now, here's one about Wrath. This is a good one about Wrath, isn't it? Because we got the results in from our poll. We had over 5,500 people vote in the poll that I gave out last week, which was, how many of you unsubbed at some point during Wrath due to lackluster content? The answer is 67.08% of people polled unsubbed during Wrath as a direct result of that. 32.92% did not. Think about that. I know it's skewed results because, hey, a lot of those people, indeed maybe all of them, listen to my show, so perhaps they think in a different way to your average WoW player. But hey, there you go. That's a lot of people that unsub due to bad content. How about we don't make any more bad content, Blizzard? Think about that. You want some money? We'll happily give you money. You just need to provide us with content that doesn't suck. And so far, you're doing a good job of that. Greetings, you cynical bastard, so says Nohana, the paladin overlord of Cenarian Circle LOL RP server. Apparently this person likes Syndragoza. No. Apparently your pathetic ears betray you! I've been the primary tank of my guild since early BC, a guild that during the Old War era held the best 10-man guild title on the server. I believe something like 11th in the US, in fact. We earned our rusted proto-drakes and we're going very strong. 6 months later, of course, attendance was suffering a little, something TOC initially remedied. However, TOC only lasted about 2 or 3 months, interest-wise. As ICC came around, we had serious problems scraping together 10 people. And the infernal goddamn gating system made it even worse to keep people interested. Yeah, let's go kill the same 4 bosses we did last week with no chance of progression. Yeah, not so much. Either way, it all culminated with the release of Halion, which we made a single night's attempt at with a raid of only half guildies, and the rest either pugs or friends of the guild, and since then, there was no more raiding. Now Cataclysm is out, while the people are still around, several have left to join the top 25-man guild on the server, while others have transferred off the server entirely. The result is, since launch, I've seen a total of 2 guild members logged on, 1 being the guild leader. Personally, I've stuck with the guild through thick and thin, even through some very unfair decisions against me. I've never considered unsubbing or leaving them to fend for myself, even through the worst that Wrath had to offer. It is very sad, passing, and sadder that I may be forced to break away and find a new home in order to keep playing. The long and short of it is that Blizzard's poor quality and lack of content destroyed one of the greatest guilds I've ever been a part of, my home for the last 4 years, and tore apart a mostly wonderful group of people. It is a sad thing, and I'd like to ask for a salute for all those who I once battled beside. You people have been a great delight, and I wish all of you, well, most of you, the best of luck in whatever you might decide to do. Indeed. At which point I would ask for an appropriate drop-in to indicate the magnificent failure of Blizzard during Wrath. Well, I have one that's pretty damn appropriate.
Not one, but 2 Jormungandr worms.
Yeah. It killed, let me see, how many guilds was I in? I think it killed 2 of the guilds I was in, actually. The sheer boredom of it killed Dark With the Skies in combination with the buggy nature of Syndragoza and the fact that that area was lagging 2 out of 10 of my guild members most of the time, so they weren't able to properly perform. Yeah. That was unfortunate. Extremely unfortunate, in fact. Very, very bad indeed. And I experienced this burnout on many occasions during Wrath as a direct result of this kind of thing. And here's something that I might not have let you know about. I'll tell you this. So I experienced very similar burnout during, yes indeed, Vanilla. A lot of people did. You want to know why? Because it was that single dungeon per tier nonsense again. Indeed. The 20-mans didn't really work all that well to alleviate that, because they were just sort of awkwardly jammed between tiers. For instance, You had Zul'Gurub come out. Zul'Gurub, I believe, came out after Blackwing Lair. Please correct me if I'm wrong there. I'm going to have to look it up. Zul'Gurub did come out after Blackwing Lair, right? I'm fairly sure it did. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely did. Now, the thing is, those of us who were on Blackwing Lair at that point really had absolutely no reason at all to go into Zul'Gurub, and I don't really blame them, because of course Blackwing Lair gear was, for the most part, superior. The weird thing about Zul'Gurub is that because they got better at itemization as they went along, you had these items that, in saying Zul'Gurub, were vastly superior to Molten Core stuff, and in some very, very rare cases were actually better than a couple of Blackwing Lair items, but by that point, you really didn't want to be in Zul'Gurub, so you didn't really have too many options. You went along, and when AQ20 and 40 came out, why go to AQ20 when you can go to AQ40? So, for some people, there were choices, but it depended on exactly how fast you progressed. If you were actually up to date with the content, then the release of AQ20 and Zul'Gurub was not really all that useful to you. If you weren't up to date with the content, these instances were actually a godsend, and I think they did really, really help that. The problem is that I was actually not so much on the cutting edge of it, but I was up to date with the raid content. Pretty much all the time. You know, when AQ came out, I raided AQ. When Blackwing Lair came out, I raided Blackwing Lair. When Naxxramas came out, I raided Naxxramas. Indeed, on the first week it came out, we got ourselves attuned, and we went to Naxxramas. We only did the first few bosses initially, because we were busy working on Cthulhu, but we did do it. And then, after we'd beaten Cthulhu, we went in there and beat a whole lot more bosses. All the way up to Thaddeus, at which point we had to stop. Yeah. The problem is that you can turn around and say, well, Zul'Gurub and AQ20 made the game, made Vanilla have multiple raids per tier, but in reality they didn't, because of the awkward way that they were sandwiched between tiers. So, the only expansion where I didn't unsub due to burnout, due to doing the same content over and over again, was actually TBC. And why? It's quite simple. Multiple raids per tier. Options. A change of scenery, folks. That was the way to do it. You had 2 full tiers of raiding available on launch. They did a very, very good job in that regard. Gave you an awful lot of things to do. Never really got bored during that, actually. As I recall, the only reason I quit at the end of TBC was due to life commitments. In fact, that was exactly the reason. I didn't have time to raid, so I stopped playing. Which is why I actually didn't get to go into Sunwell, but I never felt bored with TBC raiding, and actually that's why I think Cataclysm is looking so great, because I don't think I'm going to get bored with that either. I'll be talking a lot more about the way that the Cataclysm raids are set up, and answering the concerns of many that because this stuff is getting killed so quickly, that it's just turning back into Wrath of the Lich King again. Oh, it isn't. It isn't. I can happily provide you with some evidence of that. But yeah, it is sad to see guilds die, and unfortunately, that guild ain't the only one. I can tell you that for a fact. Okay, quick email here. Comes in from Jeff of Lightning Hoof US, and he says, Dear host of shows, I just ran Blackrock Caverns last night on normal on my mage, and I have to say, it didn't seem nearly as hard as shown on your video. I admit I've been playing this game for a while, and courtesy of listening to shows like yours, I've learned how to suck less considerably over the last couple of years. If something goes wrong, I first ask what I did wrong and strive to improve myself. What I don't know is if Blizzard tuned down the Cataclysm dungeons prior to release. Yes, I believe they did. All signs point to yes. Now, in terms of the heroics, not so much. With the heroics, a lot of them do seem to be about the same kind of difficulty level. Indeed, we saw SK Gaming's Guild, who are now, I think, ranked about 15th, maybe even 10th in the world. They wiped in Grimbatal quite a few times, actually. They did a little bit of wiping in a couple of other dungeons, Throne of Tides, for instance. It's tricky stuff, some of it's not. Vortex Pinnacle, for instance, is a joke. Lost City of Tolvir is too easy. They're the lower tiers, but I did see them wipe as well quite a bit in Shadowfire Keep. It's true. Indeed they did. So, yeah, it looks like they did nerf normals, which is actually really upsetting. I heard rumours of it later on in the beta that they'd done something to it, but of course I had no reason to go back into normal modes at that time, so I wasn't really able to check. But Yeah, and it's damn unfortunate, honestly. It really, really is. I just hope that they don't follow suit with heroics. I really don't. You can't teach anyone anything if you hold their hand too much. They have to have room to fail. It's the only way they will learn. My name is Soul Biscuit. You are listening to Blue Please right here on cynicalbrit.com. This is appropriate, I think. This is by a band called Shadows Fall. It's called Ghosts of Past Failures. And I'll be back to talk to you a little bit about raiding in Cataclysm. Enjoy.